organized private sectors. The EET will be headed by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Olawale Edun. He said the setting up of the PECC and EET was a strategic move to bolster the economic governance frameworks and ensure robust and coordinated planning and implementation.
Justice Abubakar Kutugi of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting at Jabi, Abuja, has discharged a one-time Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, SAN Mohammed Adoke, and 6 other defendants standing trial for alleged infractions in Malabu oil and gas deal. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had on behalf of the federal government dragged Adoke and others before the courts on the controversial oil prospecting license OPL 245, otherwise known as Malabu oil scam, ruling on the no-case submission filed by the defendants after the prosecution had closed its case against them. Justice Kutugi held that the anti-graft agency had not established elements of the offenses the defendants were charged with. He added that the prosecution neither called certain witnesses nor tendered evidence to prove its case against the former AGF and other defendants.
Reactions have continued to trail the recent allocation of $10,000 to each bureau de change operator at 1,251 naira per dollar by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Some respondents who spoke with the BCOS reporter Olamiposi Ishola described the decision of the CBN as a right step towards strengthening the naira against the dollar. His report.
In the last few months, the administration of President Bola Tinubu through Central Bank of Nigeria have been making frantic efforts to regain the strength of naira, which has fallen out in the forex market. One of the steps taken by the CBN is to allocate $10,000 to each bureau de change operators at 1,250 per dollar. The CBN also directed respective BDC operators to sell dollars to eligible customers at a rate not exceeding 1.5% above the purchase price, implying the BDCs are not expected to sell above $1,269. A financial expert, Dr. Lagoke, in telephone interview with BCS News, commended the CBN for the bold step taken as it will have positive impact on Nigeria economy.
I will commend Central Bank of Nigeria for this step taken, turning at 1,051 to the BDCs so that they can add a maximum of 1.5% profit to it to make it about 1,269 per dollar to the users. Because what the system needs now is for the CBN to inject liquidity. If we multiply the number of BDCs that we have now, currently, which is about 1,500, $10,000 per it has about $15 million. When $15 million is injected into a system, it will have an impact. And looking at, because of that singular step taken by the central bank, the black market rate too has dropped. I understand it's about 1,400 naira now, less than 1,400 per dollar. Yes, it is too high, but CBN is taking the right. I commend the Central Bank of Nigeria today, but I still expect them to do more.
Also, a businessman and financial analyst, Mr. Okpeyemi Folani, said the step will further strengthen naira against dollar.
We commend the effort of the President of Nigeria and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the great effort he has put in for the economic reform in respect of the inflation and increment of dollar value to naira. The recent development is a welcoming one because of the fact that such a decision or such policy has actually made the naira value to be appreciated, which will have positive impact to the economy, especially in the area of inflation or in area of pricing of goods and services.
The both respondents also urged the CBN to monitor the process for effectiveness of the policy.
Central Bank of Nigeria too also need to monitor the BDC because number one, they need to ensure that they are not selling above the 1,269 that is required of them. And then secondly, they also need to ensure that the documentation, the required documentation are obtained just to ensure that these dollars are sold to the right people.
The major issue is policies of this CBN, which will be, ever since this issue of massive increments of dollar to naira came in, CBN has been battling with the issue and they have been coming with different kind of strategy. I believe CBN should put more effort in that aspect, and with time, the naira value will appreciate more.
According to analysts, when a central bank enhances liquidity, it injects more money into the financial system to help stabilize the foreign exchange market by providing more funds for buying and selling currencies. Olamiposi Ishola, BCS News.
The Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has declared 8 suspects, including a woman, wanted in connection with the killings of the 17 military personnel while on a peace mission to Okwama community in Delta State. Director of Defense Media Operations, DDMO, Major General Edward Buba, released the details of the suspects at the bi-weekly briefing of defense correspondents on the ongoing operations by the Armed Forces of Nigeria and other security agencies against insurgency activities in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. He vowed that the military will deploy everything possible to fish out the killers and make them face justice according to the law of the land. General Buba further declared that the military would never allow a repeat of what happened to its troops in Delta State. The personnel were killed on March 14 when the commanding officer of 181 Amphibious Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel A.H. Ali, led 3 other officers and 13 soldiers to the Okwama community.
A federal high court in Borno State has ordered the release of 313 suspected terrorists, citing a lack of evidence to prosecute the suspects after thorough investigations. The decision was disclosed by the Director of Defense Media Operations, General Buba Edward, during a briefing on military operations across the country in Abuja. According to General Buba Edward, the military is committed to upholding the rule of law and will comply with the court order to release the suspected terrorists to the Borno State government. He further explained that the cases were prosecuted by the Department of Prosecution, Federal Ministry of Justice, underscoring the collaborative effort between law enforcement agencies and the judiciary in addressing security challenges in the country.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, said education remains the driver of Oyo State development. The governor said this while hosting members of the World Bank Global Partnership for Education Projects and the Better Education Service Delivery for All Additional Financing Transforming Education System, who paid him a courtesy visit at the State Secretariat Agodi Ibadan. Details are presented by Governor's Office correspondent Olalekan Sulaiman.
Addressing the visitors and other education stakeholders present, the State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, represented by his deputy, Barrister Bayo Lawal, explained that his administration will continue to prioritize education, saying it remains one of the pillars of his administration, while emphasizing that the current administration has allocated about 21% of its budget to education. The governor pledged that the state will put in place all necessary mechanisms to ensure successful implementation of the Better Education Service Delivery for All Additional Financing Transforming Education System BESTA project in the state.
For your mission
I want to assure you that your state government will give adequate support. Now you have identified 2 areas which would allow us partner with GPE. Do not entertain fear in regard to what we need to do as a state government, in spite of the fact that the lifespan of the project is less than 19. Yeah. We double our efforts and catch up with perceived deficiency so that we'll be on track.
In his brief remarks, the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Saliu Adelabu, added that the state is working assiduously on the issue of grants, disbursement, and recruitment of primary school teachers and redeployment of teachers.
The recruitment and the deployment policies too, we are on top of that situation. What is delaying us is deployment of grants to SBMC. The innovation is to be done through the school-based management committee instead of awarding the project, the contracts to contractors. And that is what we are discussing with His Excellency right now. But the advance has been granted and something is in the state. Just to update you on how far we have gone on.
Earlier, the National BESDA Project Coordinator, Dr. Folake David, disclosed that the federal government, in collaboration with the state government, is being assisted by the World Bank to ensure every citizen has access to qualitative education, with a view to reducing the out-of-school children in the country. She explained further that the BESDA project is running in 3 selected states, namely Oyo, Adamawa, and Katsina, noting that Oyo State has been on the top of the game but needs to move faster in the area of disbursement of grants, construction of classrooms, and recruitment of teachers to primary schools. Olalekan Sulaiman, This was News.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, CCII, has named the State Deputy Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, as recipient of the award of the Most Outstanding Friend of Ibadan. The award will be formally conferred on the Deputy Governor at the grand finale of the 2024 Ibadan Cultural Festival, scheduled to hold on Saturday, the 20th of April at the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, Okeado, in Ibadan. This was contained in a letter to the Deputy Governor signed by the Secretary General of the CCII, Adetokunbo Ayobami Subar, and Chairman Ibadan Cultural Festival Planning Committee, Balogun Gafar Ojetola. The letter explained that the honor is being conferred on the Deputy Governor in recognition of his immense contributions to the progress of the CCII and Ibadan land. The CCII added that the patriotic gestures of the Deputy Governor regarding the peace and development of Ibadan land remain indelible in the minds of all Ibadan indigenes.
The Oyo State government, through the Mineral Development Agency, will continue to regulate the activities of miners so as to prevent hazard and generate more funds into government coffers. The Director General Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, Mr. Abiodun Oni, made this known during an unscheduled inspection to some mining sites in Okiogun area of the state. BCS reporter Olami Posishola completes the story.
Since the establishment of Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, led by Mr. Abiodun Oni, various meetings have been organized with miners and other relevant stakeholders in the sector. The aim of the agency is to sanitize the sector and effectively regulate the activities of miners and generate the self-revenue into the government coffers. The unscheduled visit to Okyogun by the agency revealed that some miners did not follow the laid-down rules stipulated by the agency.
This one is 14.5 to 20.5. Okay, so this is okay. This one is 7 to 14.5.
In Igbeti, the headquarters of Oloyolefm local government, the agency stayed off the marble mining site for not compliance with the rules and regulations of the agency. Mr. Abiodun, while speaking with BCS News, reiterated the commitment of Governor Seyi Makinde-led administration towards ensuring a safer society through regulations of mining activities.
We can see evidently that there's some mining activities going on where some sales must be happening, and the company, the concessionaire company, is not seeing anything. We're not getting anything from the company. Nothing is happening, but there's activity going on. Our people are losing, the government is losing, nobody's getting anything. And there are a lot of people that want to get concession of this place to be able to make the best of it and optimize what we have in deposit, but nothing is happening. So because we have given enough notice, enough warning to the owner of the company, we're sealing this place.
The Director General of the State Minerals Agency also said the agency will not relent in its efforts to bring sanity and needed development to the mining sector in the state.
We should get the best of the wealth in the ground. Like I always say, it's billions in the ground. And because of poor management, lack of commitment, all sort of stuff going on, people are just cutting away the resources. And we just want to make sure that stops. That's the reason why we're going around, to make sure we're able to manage and coordinate our commonwealth for the betterment.
During the unscheduled inspection, the agency also discovered some mining equipment at different sites, which signals the commencement of mining activities in the area. The team later paid courtesy visit to the palaces of some traditional rulers in Okyogun, including Onigbeti of Igbeti, Oba Bashir Abioye, and Oloje of Ojewode, Oba Abdulrasheed Olagbemiro, to solicit their support to curb illegal mining activities in their respective areas. Olamiposi Ishola, BCS News.
Addressing hunger, unemployment, and provision of shelter should be top priorities of government at all levels. This was the view of religious leaders who featured on the BCOS live television current affairs program, Kutuhai. Aman Bode Akinjola compiled the details of the live program. His report is presented by Adebola Moibi.
The live BCOS current affairs television program, Kutuhai, explored the cross in a grudge setting. The founder of CCC Akpete Ibadan, Prophet Emmanuel Adewale, in his contributions, stated that the cross is a must for every Christian to carry, while the failure of the state compounded problems for the people. Prophet Adewale urged well-meaning individuals not to relent in supporting the downtrodden.
The leaders should imbibe in those that are led the right attitude of dedication to duty, love of mankind, respect for one another, obedience, discipline, and respect for the leaders. It's only by this there will be economic changes, there will be livelihood, there will be better interrelationship. There must be love. We must preach love, care for the needy. This time, Jesus sacrificed himself so that mankind can enjoy peace and hope in Christ in the future.
Meanwhile, the former chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, Pastor Benjamin Akomu, said every Christian should always prepare for challenges and difficulties, just like Jesus did. Pastor Akomu added that the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ is beyond merrymaking, but a time for reflection by the Christians.
Our own role in the society is to be praying for them so that they will not mismanage, they will not make mistake in governing, because it is a sensitive work. Then, going to them, any politician that doesn't relate well with God cannot do the will of God.
The duo of Prophet Emmanuel Adewale and Pastor Benjamin Akamu emphasize the need for Christians to retrace their steps from sin, be humble, and have faith in God.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Olubadan of Ibadan land on Thursday in Ibadan. Oba Olalekan Balogun Ali Okumade II, the 42nd Olubadan, died on the 15th of March at the University College Hospital at the age of 81. Staff reporter Dupe Feintola was at the Alarire residence of the late Olubadan.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo arrived at the Alarire residence of the late Olubadan with his friend Otunba Oyewole, the chairman of Oyo State Sports Council, Gbenga Dewusi, popularly known as Arole, and other notable personalities. He was received on arrival by Olubadan's widows Olori Olayinka and Olori Olufunmilayo Balogun, the Ekerin Olubadan Oba Hamidu Ajibade, and former Oyo State Head of Service Alhaji Tajudeen Aremu, and others. The former president, who said it is not how far but how well, prayed for the repose of the soul of the departed first-class Oba. Speaking on behalf of the Olubadan Council, the Ekerin Olubadan Oba Hamidu Ajibade, who thanked the former president for the visit, also appreciated his leadership role in Yoruba land. Appreciating the former president on behalf of the family, the Babajiro of Olubadan Alhaji Tajudeen Aremu said the visit was a testimony to the fact that he did not only respected the monarch when he was alive, but also paid tribute to him in death. The former president later signed the condolence register opened in honor of the departed monarch. Dupe Feintola, BCS News.
On the foreign scene, at least 11 people have been killed and hundreds of homes destroyed as cyclone smashed into northern Madagascar, according to officials. The storm was projected to skim the Indian Ocean island but changed course and hit the island's Kohima district in the early hours of yesterday. Video images showed torrents of water rushing through villages and people making human chains in waist-deep water while trying to help those trapped in their houses escape the deluge. Numerous roads and bridges were flooded and cut off. 6 people drowned and 5 others were killed by collapsing houses or falling trees, with some 7,000 people affected overall. The full extent of the damage is still unclear because many villages in the region were cut off from the rest of the country, making access difficult for rescue teams.
The bodies of 2 people have been recovered from a red pickup truck which was underwater where the Batimo Bridge collapsed. 8 workers were on the bridge when it was struck by a ship, plunging them into the waters below. 2 were rescued on the day, but the search continues for 4 other victims and all are presumed dead. Salvage crews are working to address hazardous materials and accidents. Investigators are on the scene. 4 of the 6 victims of the bridge collapse have been named so far.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. 2 committees for ensuring comprehensive coordination and implementation of the federal government's plan to reactivate the economy have been set up by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They are the Presidential Economic Coordination Council (PECC) and the Economic Management Team Emergency Task Force (EET).
The Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has declared 8 suspects, including a woman, wanted in connection with the killings of the 17 military personnel while on a peace mission to Okwama community in Delta State.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, said education remains the driver of Oyo State's development.
And on the foreign scene, at least 11 people have been killed and hundreds of homes destroyed as a cyclone Gamani smashed into northern Madagascar, according to officials.
That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Abiodun Akinkunle and delivered by
Afola Kemi Akombi. Thank you very much for listening.
And Josephine Oluwabome. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.